must be doing something right today because a man in a sporty car just swung by, opened up his window, and asked me if I had a number he could call. Apparently, he thought I was a call girl walking around just being myself.
We listen and we don't judge. Just kidding. Wasn't it just 5 years ago that women were just like totally against being catcalled in the streets? Somehow in 2025, this has become a very slay queen moment, but like, we're going backwards, people. This is where modern feminism is at, though. The entire movement is giving batshit crazy. Let's talk about it. Feminism used to be about women's sex-based rights. Now in 2025, we can no longer define what a woman even is, what sex-based rights are, and feminism has been fully taken over by the woke left activists. We're gonna do a little psychological deep dive and dive into all the ways feminism, modern day feminism, has directly negatively affected two different groups of people: activist women and mentally ill people generally under the age of 30.
I am a non-binary lesbian. I use they, they, fox, pup pronouns. I am a lesbian and I am non-binary. I am also a demigirl.
This entire movement can be broken up into three distinct parts: the deconstruction of gender, women don't need men, and the shift from my body is a temple to being a fat slut is empowering. I know that last one is super specific, but it is meant to be taken much broader, but I promise I will explain it all. Watch until the end and subscribe if you haven't already. The deconstruction of gender. This first one is actually two separate parts: gender and gender roles. This video is the deconstruction of gender in a nutshell.
Can you tell me what a woman is? Because clearly you're really confused, and that's okay. It's okay to be confused.
Breaking down what a woman is, so much so, we can't even define what one is anymore. The epitome of being so woke that you're actually asleep, or that you are so open-minded that your brain falls out. Remember, we went from feminism is about women's sex-based rights, women are more than their bodies, to women shouldn't be defined by their bodies, it's sexist, to women aren't body-specific, which somehow led us to this.
People keep telling me that I'm a fake woman because I'm transgender. Bro, look at these brownies that I made. I spent all day in the kitchen today waiting for my partner to get home so I could present them with a tray of brownies. You think that I'm a fake woman? This is as womanly as it gets. I sit down when I pee, I wear dresses, and I love the colors purple and pink, and you think that I'm a man? I sleep with stuffed animals. Of course I'm a woman.
I know this person is being sarcastic, but like actually isn't, because I know that they would also champion and support somebody like, you know, our favorite food critic, Miss Lily over there. And listen, not everybody is as quick to love themselves as Lily Tino has. And most people aren't as good with speaking out in public or in large groups or just in social settings in general. And we should all be given a chance to get better at speaking in public, for speaking out for what we believe in. That's why I'm so grateful for today's sponsor, Polybuzz. Polybuzz is an awesome app where you can go on, create your own character, meet new people, make new friends, talk up any topic, get comfortable with yourself and your beliefs, and use that confidence in the real world. If you want to work on your texting game with potential dates, pick a hot A character with specific personality traits and practice. I've been single for 7 years now. Let's see if I still got game. She said, "Hi, funny seeing you here. Do you also have trouble dating in this modern world?" And I said, "Yes, I do actually. I just got kicked out of Palm Beach Pride." She said, "Really? What made them kick you out?" I said, "Well, I have the nerve to think as an individual and not go along with the group mentality." Oh, looks like I still got it. You can also use Polybuzz to practice debating people on the far left or the far right, whatever you want, or just on specific topics in general. Just choose that personality type for an AI character to mimic and have at it. Work on your debating skills, work on your pickup lines. Go and check them out using the link in the description below, and go and support companies that support our morals and this channel. Back to the deconstruction of gender.
I was just in the women's room at a cheesecake factory, and when I walked in, there was this little girl, like 3 years old, tops. She was standing there alone, I assumed waiting for her parent, who was in the stall. And all the stalls were full, so like I couldn't go in, I just had to wait. And it was me and this little girl and no one else. And she kind of looked at me like, and, you know, I just like nodded my head and didn't look at her. I was like, you know, it's kind of awkward. And it occurred to me that when the parent, who I don't know, leaves the stall, exits their stall and sees me, a trans person, and their little 3-year-old daughter, that they might make an assumption based on untrue things that they've heard. an assumption that could be very dangerous for me, unsafe for me. So instead of waiting for that to potentially happen, I left the bathroom and decided I didn't need to pee that bad.
Gender has become a complete inner feeling, with zero relation to the outside world and how they might perceive you or treat you. Which, if you watch my content, I completely disagree with. I think how the outside world views you and how the world interacts with you is a big part of gender. It's not all about you. It is also about how you fit into the world and how the world treats you. But because of this insanely regressive thought process, we now have situations like this, which are still happening, by the way. Two men will face each other for a women's championship title at the Ultimate Pool Women's Series 2 tonight in the UK. It really isn't all about the way you see yourself. But because, quote, gender is made up, and it's all about my feels, because of modern day feminism talking points, we have people like Miss Lily Tino over here, out here playing victim, when clearly like a 3-year-old little girl was the actual victim. She was horrified.
Trans people go through this thought process any time they're in a bathroom. And it's not okay. And it's important to talk about because it happens all the time.
The deconstruction of gender has also directly affected so many young women into believing that they are a different gender just because they feel slightly more masculine, or young men feeling slightly more feminine.
Rem, my pronouns are they, them. Would you like to share yours with me?
Mine are he, they.
And the reason this bothers me is because many of them do wind up going on testosterone or getting top surgery, getting their healthy breasts cut off, and when in fact they do not have gender dysphoria. And of course they wind up regretting it, right? Or these people are identifying as everything and nothing all at the same time and have no idea who they are. I just filmed this last week at Palm Beach Pride.
How do you guys identify?
I identify as like anything. I don't really care. Yeah.
As anything?
It's also made people into perpetual victims. You don't align with traditional gender roles or gender expression, you must be trans. And then you transition and oop, you're a straight white man. Welcome to more self-hating.
I'm a beer and wine drinker, but once I start, it's hard for me to stop sometimes.
You're an alcoholic.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Interestingly enough, and this is going to make sense once I explain it, modern feminism has simultaneously taught us that being a woman is oppressive, but being feminine is good. And no one knows which way to turn anymore. We now have so many people that are female identifying as anything other than women, but are still super feminine and present are female. Hence the viral video I posted a few weeks back.
Trans gay men!
Yeah, but we're femme presenting, so we were just shouting it. We were shouting that we were trans gay men because we are. Trans gay men!
What is a trans gay man?
Biologically female, but we're trans men and we're gay. We like guys.
Do you have gender dysphoria?
Yes, heavily.
But you're still femme presenting?
Yeah, I still femme present.
Everything's a mess. It's a mess. The deconstruction of gender roles. In the past, society confined people to rigid roles based on their gender, what they should wear, how they should act, and what they were able to achieve. Modern day feminism has advocated that traditional gender roles are restricted. Therefore, they promote deconstructing them and pushing the freedom to express themselves without boundaries.
Let me just go ahead and get this out there right now. If a man ever looks at me and says, "Hey babe, what's for dinner?" and means it, assumes I'm in charge of dinner, what's for dinner? Divorce. That's what's for dinner.
It's giving aggressive, angry feminist. And while I agree with what she's saying, it's definitely not divorce worthy. But honestly, this diminishing of the importance of motherhood or being a caretaker and criticizing masculinity, this shit has got to stop. And here's where we get into the women don't need men phase of it all. First of all, I thought feminism was all about women having a choice. If she wants to be a mom and a homemaker, why can't she? If she wants to be single and a career woman, why can't she? Today, people are more empowered to express themselves beyond the constraints of masculine or feminine. The modern day feminism movement has given rise to a new era of inclusivity where gender identity is not determined by stereotypes but by personal truth. But the truth is, this cultural shift has led to fractured families, the diminishing of male importance and identity, and is creating a social imbalance that leaves children without strong role models. There's also less focus on monogamy, and we see a glamorization of polyamory and polyamorous relationships, which is why they seem to be everywhere these days. Everybody on every dating site is non-monogamous. And women are starting to take note.
It's literally a culture of women screaming they don't need no man, and then they're like, why am I single?
Probably because you say you hate men and you don't need them.
It's sad. It's all part of the agenda to keep us separate, break up the family unit, keep us divided, poor, weak, alone, sad, high, drunk. And then we'll never be able to keep the government in its place. The only thing stronger than government is the family family unit, and if that's been broken up, then we can fully be taken advantage of with fear, division tactics, left versus right, food supply, poison in our water.
It's also true on the other side. Men are also starting to notice.
Have you seen the data showing the movement of teenage boys politically to the right? Have you been looking at this?
Well, where else are they going to go?
It's a good question.
I mean, I had a teenage boy. I still have one, but he's 18 now. And I watched them be pushed farther and farther right by their school. All of your instincts are bad. These girls are amazing. Look at you. You're pathetic.
Modern feminism went so far left that it turned everybody who was there already back to the right. I found this ex-extreme leftist feminist, and here's what she had to say about this.
Feminism is a scam. A few years ago, I was an angry, blue-haired feminist. I once believed that male privilege was real, and that I was a victim of the wage gap. Now that I understand the true motives of feminism, I know that this could not be further from the truth, and that modern-day feminism is a war on true masculinity. Before women had the right to vote, most were stay-at-home wives, which meant they weren't working jobs and couldn't be taxed. Our overlords didn't like that. Rockefeller started funding feminist campaigns in media, and as a consequence of the movement, women started entering the workforce and leaving the home. Children would then be separated from their parents and sent to Rockefeller-funded schools to be indoctrinated by the state. All of this ultimately disrupting the family unit at its core. Feminism is defined as the belief in social, economic, and political equality of the sexes. But in the West, I must ask, what rights do men have that women don't? Modern feminists are convincing women that hookup culture, using hormonal birth control, and not shaving is liberation. That toxic masculinity is prevalent and the patriarchy must be dismantled. Through movies and media, we're taught that working for the man, climbing the corporate ladder, and paying tax is more empowering and valuable than raising the next generation. Women have lost touch with our natural loving instincts, and birth rates are plummeting. Men and women are not the same. And by protesting for equality of outcome rather than opportunity, feminists are demonizing and emasculating men.
I agree with almost everything she has to say. But it ain't over until the fat lady sings. The final stage in the modern feminism movement. My body is a temple. 2, being a fat slut is empowering. When I first started posting on this channel 15 years ago, crazy to say that, there was a massive shift towards actual body positivity, towards actual self-love and self-acceptance. We had the It Gets Better campaign, which was a campaign designed to show people who were gay or trans or bisexual that life gets better after high school. Like, these kids that are bullying you are just a bunch of bullshit. It'll get better. We focused on bettering our true selves, or being our best selves. So many of us were vlogging our lives, showing our healthy habits. Now I feel like whenever I go onto X or TikTok or Instagram, I see a ton of these fat con videos, fat positivity videos. People are crying in their cars, calling themselves victims all the time. Women banging thousands of men for world records, or some other type of bodily harm. And yes, for those who are about to say something, she did actually regret this. If you watched the video she made about it. I found this post on X and I think it perfectly encapsulates what I'm trying to say. The body positivity deception. The rise of body positivity has twisted the concept of self-acceptance into glorifying unhealthy lifestyles. Obesity, once recognized as a serious health risk, is now celebrated as an alternative version of health, all under the guise of promoting self-love. This dangerous narrative not only normalizes life-threatening conditions, but also discourages individuals from taking responsibility for their health, and ultimately benefiting industries that profit from illness, such as big pharma and processed food companies. Well said. Unbelievable. Bonus number 4, the lack of knowing God. Now, this is not to say that I don't believe in abortion or a women's right to choose. That's a whole other argument. It's a whole other video. I believe that this modern day feminist movement goes much deeper than that. To me, knowing God is knowing your true form. That you are a soul having a human experience. That your actual essence is one of pure love and light. It is knowing your worth, but also knowing that you are here on a journey. It's knowing you have a purpose, but are also here to learn. It's committing to learn the deepest, darkest depths of your soul and to help others do the same. And honestly, we see none of that in modern feminism.
No good happens when a society becomes more and more godless. Horrible things happen when people aren't grounded in believing that there's something bigger than themselves. You have immoral stuff that happens, you have crime, you have maliciousness, you have treating people badly, you have no humility, so you have people that are incredibly vain and have an inflated sense of power. That's how authoritarians come to rule. Having kids? Honestly, I don't know anybody that is single over the age of 60, doesn't have a family, who's happy. We're miserable. miserable as a society. Generally speaking, increasingly miserable because we're rejecting all the stuff that brings pure happiness.
Personally, I believe this all boils down to one major thing. Feminism went from an empowering movement for females to a absolute clueless facade of perpetual victims, and that's where they lost me and a ton of others. Let me know what you guys think in the comments though. Do you think modern day feminism is good? Do you think it's bad? Do you think it's a hot mess like I do? And other than that, make sure to go and check out Polybuzz. You can click the link in the description or use the QR code on screen. Support companies and brands that support your morals, our morals, and this channel. Other than that, I will see you guys back here on Sunday with a brand new video. Until then, I love you, love yourselves. Keep calling out the bullshit. Bye.